Hello, my name is Charles Hepworth. I am a fund manager at Gam Investments and manager to the Solid Captain Fund. This fund is a multi-asset class fund investing on a global basis, covering equities, fixed income, absolute return, alternatives, which include property and commodities, and cash. The fund is managed by myself and my colleague James McDade. We are both investment managers who work for Gam and both based in London. Now, Gam is an award-winning global asset manager which has been managing assets for investors for over 35 years, and James and I have been running this strategy for over 8 years now. It's designed to have an emphasis on capital growth and therefore has a significant allocation to equities, as you'd expect. We aim to achieve an average return of 7.5% per year after costs, with a volatility of around 10 to 12%, and to date we have certainly achieved this for our clients. The fund only invests into liquid assets and has a daily price in euros, enabling investors instant access to their investments. Now, the major theme this year obviously has been focused on COVID-19 and the ensuing lockdowns, which have both been disastrous for many businesses and for global growth, but it's also created a number of very interesting investment opportunities. Central banks reacted very quickly by flooding the world with liquidity, which has had a very positive effect on the majority of stock markets globally. I don't believe that we are necessarily in a second wave of the pandemic now, but more a continuation of the first wave, which doesn't seem to be slowing. And the race for successful vaccine candidates continues. Stock markets certainly believe that a vaccine is probable within the next 6 months, and central banks continue to remain supportive. We believe the ability to pick the winners in this changing world is therefore going to be critical to generating healthy client returns. During the stock market lows in March and April, it may have been tempting to sell out based on the recession threats that were engulfing the world at the time, but we didn't panic and sell. Instead, we remained engaged and used our cash position to add to risk assets. This has resulted in a healthy recovery, and we are now making positive returns for clients for the year to date, something which many of our peers seemingly are still unable to achieve. Our current positioning is pointed to a slightly underweight US equity allocation as we go into the final weeks before the US election, and we then will re-evaluate our position when we have more clarity. But I would expect it to be very volatile, whatever the result. In Europe, we're also slightly underweight equities, as we really do see better opportunities in Japan, Asia, and other emerging markets where COVID-19 is under better control and consumers are still continuing to spend. One of the clear winners this year has been technology and associated global disruptors. We have a position in a fund that seeks to take advantage of digital disruption, which is one of our star performers this year. We're also very much underweight the UK since the Brexit referendum 4 years ago, which has definitely been the right call as we wait for more clarity before re-engaging. Although as of now, the outlook for a successful end-stage trade position for both the EU and the UK looks a little bit unpromising. In fixed income, given that many government bond yields in the Western world and particularly in Europe are virtually guaranteed to provide investors with both a negative absolute and real return, we have instead invested in the debt of European banks and insurance companies. Now, these offer attractive yields and very low default rates. We also like emerging market debt and residential mortgage-backed securities in the US, which offer much better yield advantages than you can get in government debt. Finally, gold, listed property and absolute return funds have offered valuable protection and diversification in these volatile times just when you need it. We continue to believe that Solid Captain will provide clients with an excellent opportunity to generate healthy returns in these volatile times, both through active asset allocation but also by selecting investments which can take advantage of opportunities in this increasingly changing world.